Hi, I'm Brad Banis, and I am right outside of my studio in Memphis. Today I painted a little self-portrait, and I wanted to learn how to make instructional videos online. So this is my super lame attempt. I had a lot of problems with it, but I'll give you what I got so far, and let me know if you like it. So the first thing I did was get a good photo reference. I just used my phone, flipped the thing around, and played around until I got the lighting right. I wanted to get some natural lighting from the right side and with some of the studio lights from the left side, so I had both warm and cool colors. Here's what the picture ended up looking like. Um, the right side is actually a lot more blue than you would think, and then the left-hand side is the warm colors, more of the sienna and the ochre, and on the right is the kind of purples and the ultramarine blues. It was really wet, so it was hard to get a good picture of it. So these are the supplies. I had 4 brushes. I only ended up using the 3 largest brushes. I wanted more of a square cut-edged look. I used as big as I could. That's some turpenoid. I used Naples yellow, cadmium scarlet, alizarin crimson, burnt sienna, burnt umber, and believe it or not, that is viridian green, French ultramarine, flake white replacement, and cerulean blue, which I didn't end up using, some paper towel, and a piece of glass from my palette, all scraped down, nice and neat, ready to go. For lighting, I just used some cheap $5 stuff I got at Walmart, which is great. Two warm bulbs. On my right hand side, that's a cool bulb. It's one of those energy efficient ones, and a brighter halogen. So having the warm and cool bulbs really helps. This is the layout of the palette. I put 2 parts of white to keep it kind of clean, and then the basic flesh tone is that cadmium scarlet and the viridian, so I keep that in the center. It makes a really nice pleasing flesh tone. On the left hand side I have the ochre and the sienna, which is the warm tones to the flesh, and on the right hand side I have a really juicy umber and an alizarin crimson and the ultramarine blue. Those are all kind of cool, shadowy kind of colors. So after the phone ringing, answering text messages and emails, my paint slid down my palette. But here I'm mixing up a basic flesh tone, which is the scarlet, the viridian, and the white. Up above, I'm now mixing with a little bit of the Naples yellow. Usually your forehead is a little bit more yellow, so I try to keep it up there. Down here I'm mixing the umber with some of my basic flesh tone for a basic brown. Up above that I've just done alizarin crimson. Now I'm doing a bit more blue. So basically I'm taking that flesh tone and making every single variation of it. Then I'm taking this sienna, which makes kind of a healthy tan sort of skin tone, which is also a basic adult tone, and I put it on the canvas as a basis to try to get an idea of what's going on. I also tried to get the lightest light with the ultramarine and white and put a little bit on the canvas to see what that would look like. And now I'm on to the darkest darks, which is the umber and a little bit of the ultramarine. There you could see that I cut a little bit too deep into my under drawing, so nothing a little turpenoid and a rag couldn't get rid of. So the hair is pretty basic, using a lot of paint, and that'll help with the effect of the hair. Mixing in a little bit of ultramarine makes an effective black. Umber and ultramarine blue make a very nice black. It's easily controlled. I usually try to wear a black t-shirt when I paint so I don't get any kind of crazy reflection off of the paint. It's already bad enough. I had kind of a worn blue hoodie, so adding a little bit more ultramarine and white, I'll take care of that. I also like to put a little landmark for the pupils of the eye and the nose just to remind me of what I'm doing. Mixing up your own gray is really nice, because not only will it go into your background and your shirt, but it also goes somewhere in the face. So every once in a while I'll put a little bit of gray into the face to see if it belongs there, mix it in the hair. If you work all around the painting at the same time, your colors will be more harmonious. If you make any mistakes, you could just wipe it off. Here I had so much paint in that brush. It was such a big brush, I didn't want to waste it. So I ended up smearing it all over the background. Of course, I didn't end up using that color in the background. But I'm kind of a cheapskate when it comes to my paint, so here you go, that's me trying to save paint. Okay, so me getting the lightest lights on the cool side, like where the light was coming in from the window, trying to establish those highlights on the neck and that side of the face. It kind of bleached out that whole side of the face, which was kind of nice. There's also certain areas where the light caught, the protruding areas of the lips and the nose and the brow, which is kind of why I took the picture from that angle, because there was kind of a lot of fun spots that blue showed up. Now I'm starting to get into the darker parts of the cool flesh. So these are all the darkest areas. Because it's lit from both sides, the darkest areas will be right down the middle of the face. Again, I'm trying to keep my warms and cools separate. So that was the cool side, and now this is the warm side. The warm side, I'm relying heavily on the Naples yellow to get that kind of warm studio light that was bouncing on my face. Basically, that whole side was like a Naples yellow. I started to get confused with how to model that eye, but I figured it out eventually. Also, try to work into your eyes and your lips as quickly as possible. Do as I say, don't do as I do, because it'll help you get a better basis for the overall view of your picture. Here I'm trying to establish the darkest dark in the middle, that kind of midline of the face. Trying to keep the colors harmonious. I could have did a better job maintaining my palette, but hey, whatever. So now I'm trying to find a mid-tone in between the Naples and that kind of umber. Again, relying heavily on the sienna. Sienna is wonderfully translucent. You can see through it. Makes really nice skin tone. So the ochre, the sienna, into the umber makes a nice turning of the form across the planes of the face. It was kind of tough. I wanted to keep the big brush even for the small details. Now here's where I made a horrible mistake. You see what I just painted there? That was a warm color on the cool side of the face. You can see I just went up to walk and take a look at it. I knew something was wrong. I didn't know why, and that's what it was. I ended up using a cool color. I mean a warm color where it should have been cool. I ended up using alizarin crimson, and that worked out really well. But of course, by the time I figured that out, I went and checked, and my memory card was full, so that's the end. So miraculously, here it is done. You can see that I corrected on that right side. I have the ultramarine, the alizarin fading into an umber, to a sienna, to the Naples. I didn't try to go too crazy with it. I hope you enjoyed it. Thanks. For more information, visit my website.